You can't force me to marry him. I don't even know him. Adama shouted, her voice shaking with fear as her father's hand crashed hard against the wooden table. N! You will marry him? Or you leave my house today? You think I'm joking? Do you want to disgrace me in front of the whole village? Her father's voice echoed through the small mud house, trembling with anger and desperation. That was the moment Adama's heart broke into tiny, scattered pieces. She stood frozen, barefoot on the dusty floor, staring at the cracked wall behind her father, wishing she could just disappear. The sun outside was setting, but inside her soul, darkness had already taken over. You see, Adama was just 19, a village girl with dreams. Dreams of becoming a teacher, wearing clean clothes, living in the city, and helping her mother out of poverty. But poverty is a cruel thing. It doesn't wait for your dreams to come true. It crushes them, slowly, painfully. And that's exactly what it did to her. Adama lived in a small village called Gidan Kaya, the kind of village where everyone knew everyone, where news traveled faster than light. Her family was poor, like really poor. Her mother, Aminata, was a soft-spoken woman who never raised her voice, but her eyes always looked tired. Her father, Bapa Musa, was a farmer who barely had enough to feed the family. Then came the offer. Musa, said the village elder one hot afternoon, there is a man, a good man, humble, respectful. He wants to marry your daughter. Musa's ears perked. Is he rich? No, the elder said with a little cough. He's poor like us, but he is serious. He will take care of her. And that was all it took. A man named Malik, a quiet, tall man who kept to himself and lived near the stream. He wore the same shirt almost every day, washed his clothes with his hands, and never said more than 5 words at once. People said he was strange, but harmless. Adama cried for nights. Mama, please, please talk to Baba. I don't want to marry him. Her mother sighed, wiped Adama's tears with her wrapper, and whispered, My daughter, sometimes life gives us what we don't ask for, but it turns out to be exactly what we need. Still, her heart didn't agree. The wedding was done in a hurry. Nothing grand. Just a few neighbors, small rice and stew, and soft drums in the background. Adama sat there, her hands on her lap, wearing a borrowed gown, her eyes cold and lifeless. Malik said nothing. He just nodded gently and watched her with calm eyes that seemed to see more than they showed. That night, when they entered the small room they now shared, she stood by the door, stiff, breathing fast. Don't touch me, she warned, tears threatening to fall. Malik raised his hand slowly. I won't until you ask me to. His voice was so calm it shocked her. Days turned into weeks. Adama would cook, clean, and stay in her corner. Malik never shouted, never beat her, never forced anything, but he would always return late at night with dust on his feet and a strange scent of the city on his clothes. Where do you go? She asked once, not looking up from the pot of soup. Work, he said. Just work. She didn't believe him, but she had no strength to argue. Then, strange things started happening. One day, she found crisp new Naira notes wrapped in brown paper under their bed. Another day, she caught Malik speaking fluent English on the phone, fast and smooth, like someone who had lived abroad. Who are you talking to? She asked, frowning. He smiled. Just someone I work with. Work? Work where? In the village? Even his phone wasn't like the others. It was sleek, expensive. She once saw him typing fast like someone used to big business. But when she asked questions, he would just give her a small smile and change the topic. Adama didn't know what was going on, but something inside her began to shift. Slowly. Malik would carry heavy buckets for her, fix the door when it squeaked, leave her sweet mangoes by her pillow, and most nights he would look at her like she was something precious. Not a forced bride, not a poor girl, but something worth more. And for the first time since the marriage, she felt seen. But everything was still a mystery. Until one night, during heavy rain, she followed him. Yes, she followed him barefoot through the mud, her heart racing like drums during Salah. She needed to know where he went every night. And what she saw. No, she whispered to herself, hiding behind a tree. Malik was standing beside a black SUV, a big one. Expensive. One of those cars only politicians or rich men drive. He was handing over a silver briefcase to a man in a suit. The man bowed, like Malik was a king. And then Malik turned, and she saw his face clearly under the light. Cold, powerful, nothing like the quiet man who washed dishes in her kitchen. She gasped, and he heard it. Who's there? he asked sharply, his voice different. Adama froze. She couldn't move. She couldn't move. Her world was about to change. Who's there? Malik's voice cut through the rain like a sharp knife. It wasn't the gentle tone Adama had grown used to. No, this voice had weight, authority. It sounded like a man used to giving orders, not taking them. Adama's breath hitched. Oh God! Oh God! She crouched lower behind the thick neem tree, the cold mud sinking into her feet. Her heart pounded against her chest like a scared drum. The rain drenched her hair, her wrapper clung to her skin, and her teeth began to chatter, but she couldn't move. I'm in trouble, she whispered. Malik took slow steps toward the noise, scanning the darkness. His bodyguard, or whoever the man in the suit was, stood by the SUV, confused but silent. Adama couldn't let him see her. No. Not now. Not when she didn't even understand what she had just witnessed. With shaking hands, she turned and crept back the way she came, her feet slipping in the mud, water splashing under her as she ran, almost crawling back to the compound. She didn't sleep that night, just laid there in the dark, staring at the leaking ceiling, her heart refusing to calm down. Who was he? What kind of man had she married? She thought she had been forced to marry a poor villager, a nobody, a quiet man who carried firewood and fetched water. But tonight, she saw something else. A man with power, with money, with secrets. The next morning, she avoided his eyes. Malik entered their small house with dry clothes and a gentle smile. You didn't sleep? He asked. She shook her head, busying herself with peeling yam. No, the rain was too loud. He nodded and sat down quietly, watching her. I hope you didn't go outside last night. That storm was dangerous. She flinched, that voice again. So calm, but hiding something. No, she lied. I didn't. But Malik wasn't convinced. He stared at her, his eyes searching hers. Then softly, he said, Adama, if you ever see something you're not supposed to see, it's better you ask questions than hide. Her knife dropped. She didn't respond, just bent down quickly to pick it up, her fingers trembling. In the days that followed, everything changed. She started watching him more closely. Not out of fear, but curiosity. She noticed how his phone would buzz at midnight, how he would whisper in a language she didn't understand, how he sometimes left with a bag in the morning and returned without it, how men from the city started coming to the village more often, asking for directions, pretending to be lost, but always looking for Malik. One day she followed him again, this time in the afternoon. He didn't go to the stream. He went beyond it, past the old farmland, past the abandoned factory, into the woods where no villagers dared to go. There, hidden among trees, was a large black building. Steel gates, security cameras, guards with walkie-talkies. Adama gasped, ducking behind a rock. Malik walked in like he owned the place. The guards greeted him with respect, no questions asked. She waited for almost an hour, and when he came out, he wasn't carrying firewood. He was in a full suit, clean, sharp, confident. Adama covered her mouth to stop the scream that wanted to burst out. She ran home again, confused, scared. But deep down, a strange excitement was bubbling in her stomach. That night, she sat across from him, staring at his face. Malik, she said softly, who are you? He looked up from his plate. Your husband, he said, smiling. No, I mean, who are you really? You're not poor. I know, I've seen you. Silence. The smile faded from his face. You followed me, he said slowly. She didn't deny it. Yes. He put down his spoon, wiped his hands, and leaned back. Do you trust me, Adama? She swallowed. I don't know. He nodded. That's fair. Then he stood and walked to the small cupboard, pulled out a brown envelope and placed it in front of her. Open it. Her hands trembled as she untied the string. Inside were photos, documents, IDs, bank papers. And there, in full color, was his face. But not as Malik the village man. No. This was Malik Ahmed Sanusi, the CEO of a powerful tech company based in Abuja. Net worth in billions. Articles written about him, photos shaking hands with politicians. Not a TED Talk with over 5 million views. Adama couldn't speak, her eyes filled with tears. You lied to me, she said, voice cracking. I didn't lie, he replied. I hid. There's a difference. Why? She asked, whispering. He looked away, took a deep breath. Because I was tired, Adama. Tired of women who only wanted my money. Tired of fake friends, of fake smiles. I wanted something real. I wanted peace. I came to this village because no one knew me here. And then I saw you. He looked into her eyes now. You were real, raw, honest. You hated me, and you didn't hide it. You cooked with firewood, you spoke your mind, and you didn't care that I was poor, because you thought I had nothing to offer. Adama stood up, backing away. So what? This was a test? No, he said, standing too. It wasn't a game. I never planned to marry anyone. But then the elder came with your father, and I don't know, I felt something. And when you cried on our wedding night, I wanted to leave, but I stayed, because something told me, she's the one. Tears rolled down her cheeks. You should have told me the truth, she whispered. I was afraid you would change. She turned away. Her world was spinning. Everything she thought she knew was a lie. But deep down, her heart was not angry. It was confused, torn. Was he wrong for hiding the truth, or was he just protecting his heart? She didn't sleep that night, and when the morning came, she was gone. Malik woke up to find the room empty. No wrapper, no shoes, no pots on the fire. Just a note. I need time to think. How can you run away from someone who never stopped looking for you? That was the headline on every blog in Abuja 3 weeks later. But Adama didn't see it. She was in a small town miles away, sleeping on the floor of an old woman's hut. Her hands rough from pounding yam in a stranger's kitchen, her heart still bleeding from the weight of betrayal. She had run without a plan. Just a bag with 2 wrappers, a few naira notes, and the pain of knowing her husband had hidden a $1 billion life from her. She loved a poor man, but married a stranger. The day she left, Malik searched the village from dawn till dusk. He didn't yell. He didn't panic. But his silence carried thunder. People stared when he walked through the market in his sharp black kaftan, clean, pressed, elegant. They whispered, confused. Wasn't this the same Malik that used to fetch water from the stream? Ah! Look at his shoes! I heard he's not ordinary, oh. Maybe he's a politician in disguise. But Malik didn't care about rumors. He didn't care about appearances. He cared about one thing, Adama. He found her scarf near the bus station. That was his first clue. Then a ticket stub from a bus heading towards Igbesa. He followed, not with guards, not with money, alone, quiet, determined. Meanwhile, Adama had found shelter with Mama Kosi, an elderly woman who ran a small roadside food stall. When she knocked on her door at midnight, barefoot and shivering, the old woman didn't ask questions. She just gave her a mat and said, sleep first, cry later. Days passed. Then weeks. Adama helped Mama Kosi wash dishes, carry firewood, and serve customers. Sometimes she would sit under the mango tree, thinking about the way Malik used to watch her when she cooked, how he always fetched water before she woke up, how he fixed her broken sandal without saying a word. But it was all fake, right? Or was it? She didn't know what hurt more, the lie or how much she still missed him. Then one evening, while she was walking back from the stream, she saw a shadow leaning on the village signboard. Her heart stopped. It was him, Malik, dusty, tired, but smiling. Adama, he breathed out, his voice cracking like dry leaves. You really wanted me to suffer, eh? She froze. Her throat dried up. Why? Why are you here? She asked, barely above a whisper. He walked closer. Because I love you, and I won't stop searching for you, even if you run to the end of the world. Tears filled her eyes, but she turned away. Love? She said bitterly. Is that what rich men call it these days? You hid who you were. You let me believe you were struggling like me. I was struggling, he said softly. Not with money, but with trust, with fear, with pain. I've been hurt before, Adama. Used, lied to. And when I saw you, I wanted something real, but I didn't know how to be both rich and real. She looked at him now, her voice shaking. And now that I know the truth, what am I supposed to do, Malik? Just go back and pretend like it's all okay? No, he said, voice low. You're not supposed to pretend. You're supposed to choose. He reached into his pocket and pulled out something small, wrapped in cloth. He unwrapped it slowly. Inside was a key and a folded piece of paper. Adama took it with trembling hands. The paper read, In my world, you're still the only truth I know. She burst into tears. Mama Kosi came running, confused. What's going on? Adama couldn't speak. Malik smiled at the old woman. I'm the man who's been searching for her since the day she walked away with my heart. Mama Kosi blinked. Well, you found her. Now what? He looked at Adama. Now I wait for her to forgive me. That night, Adama didn't sleep again. Her emotions were wild, confused. But her heart, it was loud. She remembered every moment, Every small kindness, every quiet sacrifice. The man who helped her sweep their compound. The man who stitched her torn blouse without bragging. The man who never raised his voice. Yes, he hid the truth, but he never stopped loving her right. And love, real love, wasn't perfect. It was raw, messy, risky. By dawn, she was packing her bag again. The village watched with wide eyes as the same quiet village girl climbed into a black SUV the next morning. Malik opened the door for her, smiled. She didn't speak. She just nodded. And that was enough. As the car pulled away, Mama Kosi wiped a tear. "Ah, love sweet oh," she muttered. But the story was far from over. Because when Adama stepped into the world Malik came from, power, wealth, enemies, she would soon discover. Not everyone is happy to see a village girl in a billionaire's arms. They called her a gold digger, but they had no idea she once gave up everything just to be with him when he had nothing. The black SUV stopped in front of a tall iron gate. Adama looked out the tinted window and gasped. Her chest tightened. There it was. A mansion. Not just big, but huge, like a palace. White marble walls, gold railings, a garden so neat it looked like the flowers had been trained like soldiers. The gate opened slowly with a soft hum. She turned to Malik. This is where you live?" He nodded, calm. "It's not where I live. It's where we live now." Her hands started shaking. "Breathe, Adama," he said gently, squeezing her fingers. "No one here is above you." But deep down, he knew that wasn't true, because inside those walls, wolves were waiting, dressed in silk, dripping in diamonds, with sharp eyes and poisonous smiles. The moment she stepped into the house, the temperature changed. Not literally, but emotionally. The maids bowed, confused. The head housekeeper, Madame Clara, raised her eyebrows when she saw Adama's wrapper and worn slippers. "Sir Malik, is this?" "This is my wife," he said, firm. "Her name is Adama. From today, you treat her as you would treat me." Clara's smile was fake, so fake it could peel paint. "Of course, sir," she said, curtsying low. "Welcome, madam." Adama managed a small nod, but her heart was thumping so hard she could hear it in her ears. That night, she sat in the giant bedroom alone. She stared at the chandelier above her. It looked like it cost more than her entire village. She felt lost. She missed the sound of crickets, the scent of firewood, the laughter of Mama Kosi's grandchildren. Here, everything was too quiet, too clean, too cold. And the next morning, it got worse. Malik had to travel suddenly for a business deal. 3 days, he told her, brushing her hair softly. "I'll be back before you blink." But she blinked, and everything changed. The moment he left, the house turned into a battlefield. Madame Clara stopped smiling. The maids whispered behind her back. One of them said out loud, "I heard she was sweeping gutters last month. Now she's wearing silk bedsheets." Another hissed. "Village girls like her always trap rich men with innocent faces. You'll see." By the second day, someone poured pepper in her bathwater. Her skin burned. She screamed. No one apologized. Later that night, she found her wrapper soaked in the toilet. She cried in silence. She wanted to leave. But where would she go? Back to the streets? Back to nothing? No. She made a decision. I will not run again. The next morning, she woke up before everyone. She wore the simplest dress she could find, plain white cotton. She walked into the kitchen and started cooking, by herself. She pounded yam, boiled soup, fried plantain. When Madame Clara entered and saw her covered in sweat, she shouted, "You think you're a maid now? You want to take our jobs too?" Adama turned slowly, calm. "I'm not a maid," she said. "I'm not even rich. I'm just a woman who loves her husband. I don't need gold to prove that." The house fell silent. 3 hours later, Malik returned, unexpectedly. His flight was canceled due to weather. He walked in and stopped at the door, his nose twitching. "Is that ogbono soup?" he asked, confused. He followed the smell into the kitchen, and there she was, Adama, smiling, covered in flour, face glowing with sweat. His eyes softened. "Did you?" "I cooked," she said simply. "For you. For us." He pulled her into a tight hug, ignoring the shocked faces around them. "I missed you," he whispered. "And I missed us," she replied. But just as they were about to eat, his phone buzzed. A message. He opened it. His face changed. Adama noticed. "What is it?" He didn't speak. He just showed her the phone. The message read, "So this is the woman you left me for. You'll regret this, Malik. I swear it. She will never survive this world." Adama's heart dropped. "Who sent that?" she whispered. Malik's jaw clenched. "Her name is Valerie," he said. "She's not just my ex. She's my enemy. And now she's yours too." Adama blinked. Suddenly, her village battles seemed like child's play, because Valerie wasn't just jealous, she was powerful, connected, ruthless. And she wasn't bluffing, because by morning, Adama's face would be all over the blogs. Village witch seduces billionaire. Secret wedding scandal, who is Malik's bush bride? The real war had just begun. The whole country turned against her. The media, the elites, even his family. But when love is real, it doesn't hide. It fights. Adama opened her eyes to chaos. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. The screen was flooded with headlines. Billionaire Malik secretly marries uneducated village girl. Who is Adama? Sources say she begged in markets just months ago. Marriage built on lies? There were even worse ones. Photos from her village, videos of her selling firewood, a blurry clip of her crying in the streets. They dug up everything. She stumbled out of bed, her hands shaking. Malik was already in the living room, pacing, phone glued to his ear. No, he snapped. I don't care what the board says. Adama is my wife, and she's not going anywhere. He ended the call and turned to her. His face was pale. Baby, he whispered, I tried to protect you. I never wanted you in this mess. She walked slowly to him, heart racing. I don't care what they say, Malik, she said, voice cracking. But I need to know. Is it true? He blinked. What? That you're not just rich, that you're one of the richest men in the country, that you hid all of this from me. Silence. Then a long, deep breath. Yes, he said. I am. I own companies in 3 countries. I use different names to hide from the media. I didn't tell you because I wanted someone to love me, not my money. Tears filled her eyes. And you thought lying was the best way to earn that? He looked down. She wiped her face and walked out the door. The press waited outside the gate like hungry wolves. Cameras flashed. Microphones pointed at her. Questions were screamed. Adama, are you really married to Malik? Do you feel like you tricked him? Is this a money grab? Her throat dried. Her knees shook. She opened her mouth, then froze. But then, one voice rose above the noise. It was a woman. That's Adama. She gave my baby her only shawl during Harmattan last year. She's no gold digger. She's a giver. Then another man shouted, she helped my mother at the hospital, paid our bills without even knowing our name. The crowd grew quiet. One by one, villagers from her past appeared, her people, her truth. They came in buses. They held signs, waved photos, told their stories. The nation watched. Suddenly, the public started to shift. Back inside the mansion, Valerie stood in her glass apartment, fuming. Her plan had failed, but she had one last move. She called Malik. I know secrets about your company, she hissed. If you don't divorce her, I'll leak everything. Your empire will fall. Malik didn't flinch. He smiled. I was hoping you'd say that, he replied, because this call is being recorded, and my legal team is listening. Click. 2 hours later, Valerie was arrested for blackmail and fraud. Adama returned that night, exhausted. She found Malik waiting at the gate on his knees. I lied, he said, but I never lied about loving you. Please, please don't leave me. She stared at him, eyes swollen, hands trembling. And then she knelt beside him. Only a fool leaves the one who fought for them. He pulled her into his arms, and they cried like children. 6 months later, Adama stood in front of hundreds. Cameras rolled, lights flashed, but she wasn't scared anymore. She held the microphone and smiled. I once had nothing, she said, and when I was given everything, people thought I didn't deserve it. But I've learned that true wealth is not in money. It's in love. It's in truth. And most importantly, it's in never forgetting who you are. The crowd rose, clapping, cheering. Malik smiled proudly beside her. Because this was no longer just the story of a poor village girl, it was the rise of a queen. And this time, the whole world watched her shine.